All right. Today's tier list content is going to be an aura or swag tier list. I know the kids these days say aura. I've always liked the word swag. Uh, Pretty straightforward. Aura is defined by two major things in Dota, at least I like to think. The first is what the enemy team feels when you pick them, right? So if they first lock a Shadow Fiend, that's a deep, dark swag that is being cast upon your team. The second is the character's flavor. So what they look like, voice lines. One of the most important things here is also walk animation. Walk animation matters so much when it comes to determining the swag of a hero. The third of the two things is mechanics. So like how much swag do they exude when they're out there doing they thing? Of course, aura is in the eye of the beholder. All of this is subject to interpretation. Due to the layout of the tier list, all of the DLC characters released after Hoodwink will be at the end. So don't comment asking where Ringmaster is. He's at the end, and he will most likely be in one of the higher tiers. 5 categories. The top one is Elite Aura Commander. I'm predicting there's going to be like 5 heroes in this one. Shadow Fiend will be one of them. Just letting you know right now. Next is Plug Walk. These are dense swag characters. These are characters with quite a bit of aura to them, but not quite in that top 5 number that we're aiming for with EAC. It might wind up being 4 or 6 or whatever, but you get the idea. Risking it all. This is sort of a weird one. There's certain characters that like can actually have negative aura if you don't play well. You don't necessarily have to win, but if you're like feeding on them, it's like the least aura in the entire game. But if you're playing okay, it's like you're good. You have enough. In fact, some of them are even pretty high up, like EAC plug walk territory for these heroes. It's just that like you can also have negative aura on them, which is kind of true for all of them. But like you'll understand, Anti-Mage will be in this tier. I'll tell you that right now. Some motion. These are characters that have a little bit. You know, they're not exactly the cool characters of the game, but they're all right. They're all right. And then bitchless. And these are the characters who have no swag whatsoever. Not an ounce, not a gram to their name. There's going to be, most heroes are probably going to be in some motion. Dota characters, they've added a lot of swag to the game over the years. Most characters have like something that they can do. Like Lich would be in bitchless, but well, that's not even true because his flavor is so swaggy. But he's got like the shard ulti blink combos where he just kills you out of nowhere, and that gives him some motion in addition to him just being like a drag queen for some reason. So we're gonna go. We're gonna start as we always do with our big boy Abaddon. Abaddon is unfortunately bitchless. This character has no swag, no aura. I have never seen an Abaddon do something and been impressed by it. There really isn't a whole lot of emotion you feel when you're playing against an Abaddon. It's just like, okay, like some of my stuff is going to get purged. My Orchid isn't going to be as good as it could be, but I feel bad because he's the first into the frame. We got to put him bitchless. But really, what do you feel when you see an Abaddon? And he has like he's on his horse. His horse is cool. That's really it. The only way this guy has aura is if you have the skin where he has the Sephiroth sword that's long as shit, which is the one I use. Alchemist has some motion, a little bit. His ability to just get all of those items super fast and then blink out of nowhere and kill you is kind of scary. And then when you see him picked, it's like, okay, there's going to be some wonky tempo stuff going on this game. So we're putting him in some motion for sure. AA also has some motion, mostly because of the ultimate. You get hit by that like across the map ice blast and you die out of nowhere and it feels like shit. But at the same time, you're like, damn, that was impressive by the AA because it takes so long. Unless he hits you in the fountain, that's cheating. That has no aura at all. But you get hit by those big ice blasts or like in a roche pit and it comes for you. Oof, you feel that aura. You feel it destroying your health bar and winning the team fight from a million years away. Anti-Mage, our first risking it all hero. This is a hero who has a very high swag potential. You have counterspell, you have manta dodging, you have blink, you have your ulti that can be like an instant quadruple or ultra kill, as we call it. Why, hello, fellow Dota players. He's got a lot of potential to have a shitload of aura, but everyone likes to see an anti-mage player eat shit. Even his own team kind of wants him to completely fail. And when he gets into those bad offlane matchups where he gets bullied, and it's like, okay, he's gonna put his head down and just grind set his way through to eventually like Battle Fury Manta Basher and then come back into the game, and then he like doesn't. Like he shows up after all that and just dies instantly. Negative aura. Super frustrating for the person playing him too, because you picked anti-mage. You kind of have to come correct. You've got a bit of a legacy to uphold when you pick this hero. So risking it all for sure. Arc Warden, I'm trying to decide if he's in Plug Walk or Elite Aura Commander. He's very high up. He's a very scary hero to play into. He's got a lot of outplay potential throughout his entire kit. He's got the skill shots with the wraiths, and he can like hit you with them blind, and he gets a bunch of different chances to like chain them together because of his ulti. Very difficult hero to play. Very scary to see him picked against you. I think he might be Elite Aura Commander. I think he's up here. Yeah, he's going to be the first of our 5. I kind of wanted it to be that we just go right up, but I know for a fact that Axe will not be an Elite Aura Commander, but he won't be far from it. I think he's Plug Walk. Axe is very scary. He's got a total vibe to him. You see an Axe picked with confidence, like especially if they have a high Dota Plus level, and you do get a little bit nervous. Like, oh shit, like what's he gonna do to me? I think he's up there. I think if you're an Axe picker as well, you're probably a pretty cool guy. He's gonna go Plug Walk. Elements of risking it all though. If you get that super bad lane and your blink and blade mail is like a really awful timing, we're gonna put him up here still though. Bane. Bane's only real source of swag from a gameplay standpoint is doing those really cool nightmare dodges, like when your carry's about to get necro ultied and you hit it on him and it's like the point, is it like 0.4 seconds, something like that? It's way bigger than a Manta dodge, but it's also, you have to factor in the cast delay. It's a lot harder in some ways. Well, not harder than a Manta dodge, but it's more difficult than it sounds when you say like 0.4 second invulnerability window, or however long it is. I don't even know how long it is. Is that enough to put him in some motion? I'm thinking about his flavor. The main thing I'm thinking about is his laugh, dude. His laugh. He's got some sick voice lines too. He's got the when you pick him and it's like bane of your existence. I always liked that. It's cheesy because he says his own name, but I still like it. For the laugh. His laugh gets him into some motion above bitchless. Bat Rider. Is he Plug Walk? Or some motion? I don't think he's quite risking it all. I think he's in some motion because he's so straightforward. If he was more like dancing around you in the way that Puck is, for example, he would be higher up. But he's not quite that. Chasing him is a pain in the ass. He's definitely got aura when you're trying to chase him, and he pops Firefly and goes over 15 different cliffs trying to dodge you. Yeah, we're gonna put him in some motion. Beastmaster is such a nerdy hero that I'm kind of obligated to put him in bitchless. But he's got the woo when he when he picks up a bounty rune, he goes woo. maybe the OBS noise suppression will cut that out, but you know the sound that I'm talking about. That alone, I think, gives him some motion. I don't know though. He's so nerdy though. I just like when I see a Beastmaster picked, but like not in like a scared way, just in an annoyed way. We're gonna put him in bitchless. I apologize to the Beastmaster players. Bloodseeker, I think, is Plug Walk. You see him running at you at like 600 movement speed, you get ruptured, and it's like he's basically mogging you. You know what I've done as a Bloodseeker? I used to do this back when I was playing in Lower Mars, is I would rupture people, and I would just run in circles around them. Just like I know they're gonna die. Like, they're not gonna TP out. I drop Blood Right, and I would just run around them in circles for a little bit, just to really make them feel it. That was so toxic. You do that, he might be Elite Aura Commander, but this is a hero that you can Aura farm on, and then he's also got the movement speed, which is a big deal. So I think he's going to go up here and Plug Walk. Bounty Hunter. I think he's got some motion. I think he's got a little bit of motion. This is, again, going to be the most consistent tier. There's going to be a lot of heroes in some motion. I think Bounty is some motion because you have to be sort of scared of him the entire game. Like, you have to have him in the back of your mind, and then, you know, you have the really cool situations where heroes are, like, running away, and you throw out a shuriken, and it bounces off, like, 3 track targets and kills them from a mile away, and that feels awesome. You feel so cool when you do that. So I do think he's going to go in some motion, but he sort of sneaks in. It wouldn't feel right to call him bitchless, I'll say that. Brewmaster, I think, is another risking it all hero. Because when you see Brewmaster picked, your first thought is like, oh shit, this guy's probably really good at Dota. Like, you get a little bit of fear in your brain when you see him. But when he pops ulti, if he just like selects all and A clicks you, it's like, all right, never mind, this guy's a moron. Like, And Beastmaster is a hero that like you can get clipped short real fast because you do have the threat of your ultimate that has a lot of swag to it. Plus, you're just like sipping on brewskis the whole time. You got a brewski or a twoski, and you're playing Brewmaster. It's a good time. Uh, and you have to like run away from him in the lane in a really awkward way. Like he slows you with the barrel, and you have to be like, "Ah," just like try to waddle away. Well, he smacks you good. He's gonna go in risking it all because if you are like a dedicated Brewmaster player, you have a good amount of aura, a solid amount of aura. But also you can get in those situations where like either you're a bad Brewmaster player and you're not good at microwing, or you have to like run away during your ulti. Like you get down to like the earth one and you're like, and you run away. Because if you kill a Brewmaster in their ulti, it's like, oh wow, we never have to be afraid of this guy again. And it's a tremendous aura loss for you. So risking it all sounds appropriate for him. Weird to put these two heroes next to each other. I think this is the only tier list where this will be the case, but there you go. Bristleback. Hmm. The hero himself in the lore is absolutely bitchless. And he has what's funny is he actually has shades of Brewmaster again, in the sense that like if you feed, if you don't know your limits as Bristle, and it's like, oh, he doesn't know what he's doing, no one is scared of you anymore. But there's also a period of time where like you get in the team fight, you cast spells 10 times, and now everyone has to be terrified of you. So I think he's also in some motion. But there are shades of risking it all with Bristle. Broodmother is Plugwalk for sure. This is a very scary hero to see picked against you. I don't quite think she's an elite aura commander because a lot of her aura is determined by what's on the enemy team. And if they have ways of like man fighting you or uh clearing out the spiderlings, those are like the two boxes they really need to check. And if they tick both of those boxes, like you're not that scary. But like you're queuing at 2 a.m. Like I joke about the Chinese Broodmother players, but like, dude, queue 2 a.m. US West. You will find them. They will fuck you up. It's kind of crazy. Unrelated to the tier list entirely, I've heard of a strat that Broodmother players are doing now where they pick the Necrotic Webs facet that reduces your HP regen, and then they put one down in every lane. I don't know how they do it. I'm assuming they like pop smoke, run to the bot lane, put one down, then go through the portal gates, and then go through the top and put one down, and then they run mid, I guess is what they do. And then they max webs, so it's like 70% HP regen. And I have actually played against this. Not this strat, but I've played against a Broodmother in a single lane doing this, and it is miserable. It is so miserable. It is insane having just 70% of your HP regen cut for you. Like you pop a tango and it does nothing. It's kind of nuts. I might make an MMR scam video about that. Centaur Warrunner. They took out the things you can do where you like start the hoof stomp and then blink into Chronosphere so you can stun Baseless Void in the Chrono. That was a source of intense swag for Centaur Warrunner, and he's a hero that doesn't have a whole lot of it. You know, it makes me sad, but I'm gonna put him in bitchless. But I think he's like a Vol Cell. You know what I mean? He's bitchless, but it's polite. Centaur. Chaos Knight. He's got a lot. I think he's Plugwalk, dude. Great voice, amazing voice lines. He's got like the terrifying gameplay aspect where you have to be scared of him. He's got RNG. Gambling is cool, I've been told. He does a lot of that. Yeah, he's up in Plugwalk for sure. A fun fact about Chaos Knight as well, if you want to increase your swag, whatever set you have on Chaos Knight, go and replace the head slot with his default head, and he will look better. There's one set I know where this doesn't work on, but this is like a CK fashion tech of replacing his head slot with his default head, and it looks better all the time. I think the one it doesn't work on is the one where he is extravagantly Chinese. But other than that, it works. Chen. Part of me wants to put him in bitchless, but like he's actually not. It's pretty. I think he's in like. I think he's in some motion somehow. Like it's weird because part of like I think you could literally put him in any tier and it would make sense, except for maybe elite aura commander. I don't think he's quite up there. But like Chen is such a weird hero in terms of aura because you see him and you're scared because you're like, oh shit, the lane. He's gonna summon the yellow hellbears and run them under tower and have them die intentionally to give everyone else a shitload of attack speed, and then I'm gonna die, which is a hilarious strat. And I'm glad Chens have realized it can be a thing. I'm starting to see that take over pubs instead of the satyrs. Uh, he's got micro. He's pretty scary to see on the enemy team, but at the same time, like he as a character, like his voice lines and everything else are pure bitchless. I think. So we're gonna put him in some motion, but this guy is like in the Tempest. Like who knows? Clinks. He had a lot more aura when he had the glitch, where you would be piercing a lot more armor than normal. Uh, Pops out of nowhere and kills you and runs away. You got to be a little bit scared of him. Invis helps a lot with aura. I think, but you're also like a frail little bitch body for like the entire game because you want to buy like Desolator and Daedalus. So I guess you wind up with like Dragonlance as your tank item in the bonus HP from Death Pact. It might be risking it all. Maybe. I don't think so. He doesn't quite have the like cultural impact that I think Anti-Mage has, or the highs and lows of a Brewmaster player. I think he's in some motion. Again, this is going to be a very crowded tier. Clockwork. He's definitely above some motion. I think he's plug walk because he actually does the plug walk at you. Like he pops battery assault and then he waddles towards you and it's like, oh shit. it's pretty scary. He's a hero that you pretty much have to run from no matter what. Like even if he's multiple levels below you, you still have to be scared. Because if you get hookshot and put in the cogs and the battery assault and everything, like who knows who's behind him is going to come up and fuck you up while he's occupying 90% of characters and with no real easy way to escape. So I think he does go in plug walk. He incites a lot of fear. Is CK an elite aura commander? I tend to commit when I put heroes in tiers. We might revisit. Crystal Maiden. Her motion comes from the fact that she is such a frail little bitch. CM running away, like one of the favorite things that I've ever done in Dota, and I used to do this a lot because I used to be a dedicated pause 5 player, is I would pick Crystal Maiden, and you would get in these situations where you're up against like a Queen of Pain or an Ember Spirit, and they want to kill you so bad. They want to get you so bad, but you have like Force Staff and Yules and everything else, and you can like outwit them. Like you can Frostbite, Force Staff to low ground, run away, use Yules to dodge their shit, Q so that the radius hits behind you and then they're slowed and they can't chase you. Like you could wind up really being a obnoxious little bitch with CM, and it ruled. It was super fun. And you can still do that, and it's even better because you have the shard now. So I think she does indeed have some motion. She's gonna go there. Darkseer. Very similar to Beastmaster. I'm sorry that all of the heroes down here are offlaners so far. I promise this is anti-offlane bias instead of the carry bias that I usually have. A lot of carries in the Bloodwalk section. I'm looking, maybe my bias is reaching through. It's just, he's so nerdy. It's another like ultra nerdy hero, and that really brings him down, I think. It's bitchless, but it's a very respectful bitchless. In the same way that Chen was almost bitchless in the sense that it's just his flavor. Like this guy's such a big old dork. He's a big old nerd. So he goes down here. Dark Willow has some motion. Is she risking it all? She's a very squishy support. I think she is in risking it all, actually. You're really kind of putting something on the table when you're playing as Dark Willow. Because you can either run team fights like absolute crazy, or you can just feed out of your freaking mind. Because a lot of Dark Willow players overestimate how good of a defensive tool Shadow Realm is, and then they get AoE stunned. And then they'd be real quiet in the post-game chat afterwards. So, risking it all for her. She's, I think, the first support who's going to be here. There's not going to be a whole lot, but there's going to be a few. Dazzle's got some motion. You have some really cool outplay potential with Shallow Grave. Shadow Wave is also a really cool spell. His ulti is kind of, I mean, his ulti is literally an aura projection. Like you're throwing yourself out there so far so that you can be in the middle of a team fight while your actual body is aura farming in the trees, half a map away. So I'm going to put him in some motion. Death Prophet. She doesn't really have much going for her in terms of this. Well, she's a bit like Clockwork, actually, in the sense that she pops like ulti and Spirit Siphon, and then she winds up just like walking at you, and like that's enough. That's enough, and you have to run away from her pretty much all the time. Being able to do damage while moving has a lot of swag, so we're gonna put her in some motion. Disruptor. Is he plug walk? The jazz music stops when you see a disruptor on the enemy team. We're gonna put him up here. He means a lot. He's got a lot of swag to him between glimpse, and then he also just like is a cool guy. Like his flavor helps him a lot here. I like whenever he like talks to the dinosaur thing that he rides. Strider run and all that. Doom is an elite aura commander for sure. This is the apology to the offlane players who I put all your heroes down here. Doom is up here. EAC 100%. He might even be the elite aura commander in chief. Well, no, Shadow Fiend is going to come later, and you'll know why. Doom is a terrifying threat to every single hero on the map at all times. There are a single digit number of heroes in the game that do not care about getting doomed. The rest of them fold. Almost, I think every single hero on this list so far, with the exception of maybe Anti-Mage and Abaddon. Anti-Mage only because you can counterspell it, and then if you do get actually doomed, it's like, you're a whiny baby bitch, because you can't even ulti. You can still use your passives until he gets the break. But he is a hero that represents himself as a direct counter and a threat to 98% of the cast. The only heroes, well, I guess Death Prophet, if you get all your shit off, you don't really care about getting doomed. It's like not that big of a deal. But even then, it's, you won't heal from Spirit Siphon. So there is still something to lose there. So yeah, he as a counter to every single hero, no matter who you're playing in the game of Dota, Doom counters you. Specifically, he counters you. So he's going to go an elite aura commander. And the flavor. I mean, you're literally the king of hell. He cracks jokes. He speaks in that weird Oshkosh, Bagosh language that the demons have. He's going to go up here. Dragon Knight. The perennial bitchless hero. No swag to his name. No shame in his game. There's no shame, though, real talk, about Dragon Knight being bitchless. It's okay. And do not point to the scene in the anime where Mirana wants to, like, crack him or whatever. That is irrelevant to me. The anime is not canon because I haven't seen it. Once I see it, it'll become canon, but until then, you don't need to worry about it. Drow Ranger also maybe bitchless. You do have the thing where you can multi-shot people while they're running through the trees, so they think they got away from you, and it's like, nah, bitch. And that's cool. And then she also just does a metric shitload of damage, and that probably benefits your aura to some degree. But, like, that's it. And she's kind of, like, try-hard edgy, especially in the Arcana. I'm not a big fan of what they did to her voice in the Arcana. Or not her voice, but, like, her voice lines. The VA did a good job, but some of her writing, quite cheesy. It's like, girl, what are you talking about? I think she's bitchless. It hurts me to put her here because of my carry bias, but yeah. Ooh, Earth Spirit has a lot of swag. Is he Plug Walk? Or is... see, there's a bunch of heroes that I think could go in EAC. We're going to put him in Plug Walk. We might wind up promoting some characters into EAC, but we'll see. He's got a lot. I mean, this is a hero with an insane pedigree in high-level play. Very competitive. A lot of people still don't know what he does, even though he's not that complicated. I keep telling people this, but they don't listen. He's up here in Plug Walk, for sure. Lot of swag going on. Earthshaker. You've got the big fat ultis. You've got the big stunlock combo, which is kind of just an extension of the big fat ulti. But a lot of the heroes with crazy big teamfight ultimates, like Earthshaker and Enigma, we're going to have him shortly, are going to be in Risking It All. Because if your ultis are good, you have infinite aura. And if your ultis are bad, you suck. And there's no in between. Like, you can't be, like, no one's ever said, like, man, that Earthshaker play was really good. He didn't have a single good ulti all game, but his fissures were on point. Like, no one gives a shit. It all depends on the ulti, and that means that you're risking quite a bit. So we're going to put it in Risking It All. Can be high or low tier in terms of swag, but it really depends on how good your ultis are. Elder Titan. He's... if we put him in some motion, it would be a lot of motion. But if we put him in Plug, I think his flavor pushes him over the edge, and we put him in Plug Walk here. The Titan says no. His voice walk is great, or his voice lines are great. His walk animation is great. He's got some really good voice lines, like that one. And then one of the big things is how hard he fucking hits you. He hits you like a Mack truck. and he says funny things. One of the cool things about Elder Titan is he has cultural influence because people call it the briefcase. I know it was like some casters or someone who started calling it that, but he really does. That's such a good name for it because he gives you the business when he hits you with it. He gives you the whole corporation. So we're gonna put him in Plug Walk up here. Plus he's God. He's about as high up the chain of command as you can go in the Dota world. So he's gonna go in Plug Walk. He looks cool too. He's a Tauren, I think. I don't play World of Warcraft. It would ruin my life. I'd be pooping in a sock 15 minutes in. Ember Spirit. He's got a lot. He's got a lot. The problem is he's in risking it all, but for very different reasons from a lot of the other characters who are risking it all, because the matchups are so bad. You can be an absolute monster Ferrari 430 type beast on Ember Spirit if you want, and if you can. But you can also be a poor little meow meow, and then you wind up getting a Mage Slayer at 18 minutes and brown boots, and like that's what you have because you picked into a Huskar. Like you blind pick Ember into like pretty much any possible cheese, and you're just bummed. There's nothing you can do about it, and so you're never going to have aura no matter how hard you try. So it's risking it all, but entirely based around the draft. Ench. Bitchless. Bitchless. She's got enchant, and you can do some cool micro stuff, and impetus is annoying, but none of it is conducive towards aura. She's very friendly. Her flavor is not doing her anything either. She is bitchless, but she's similar to Darkseer, and then she's a Volcel, and it's chill. Enigma also risking it all. You have the Eidolons, which gives you a little bit more meat on your bones, but on balance, it entirely is dependent on how good your black holes are. And if your black holes aren't good, you have 0 aura, negative aura. Your team hates you, the enemy team thinks you're a joke. But if you get those good black holes, then you win the game. Whenever an Enigma is on your team, it's either the reason you lost or the MVP. And that to me is very in line with the concept of risking it all. So yeah, pretty swaggy if the Enigma player knows what they're doing when it comes to their ults. But outside of that, it's like, Faceless Void. Is he Plug Walk? Another risking it all type character because of Chronosphere and what that does to the game. It really warps everything around it. I think if you take away Chronosphere, he would maybe be Plug Walk, but because you have the potential to have a bad Chrono, and the bad Chrono, like a bad black hole, doesn't hurt your team. You know, it doesn't grief. It's just bad. It's just bad for it. It doesn't hurt the enemy team. But Chronosphere, you can not only not hurt the enemy team, you can also hurt your own team. And that means that everyone hates you even more. So similar to the black hole thing, where like you have good Chronos, your universe tier Chronos, stuffed crust, it's awesome. But if you don't have those, then you're a weenie baby. You're a weenie bitch baby, and everyone thinks you're a joke. So there you go. Grimstroke. He's okay. You could put him in bitchless, and in the lore it would be accurate. But I think he's got some motion. I think he do. And the reason why is because of Inkdstroke, primarily. You can get some really funky stuff going on, especially when you factor the curves into it. Soulbind is a really flashy ability. He's a bit of a Scottie Pippen type aura, but Scottie Pippen had aura, you know? Even if he wasn't Jordan, he still had motion. He had some motion. So here we go. Gyrocopter, to me, has swag. I think he's got that old man swagger. I don't know if it's enough to put him in Plug Walk, though, and it's definitely a non-traditional form of aura. You know, old guys, I'm thinking of, like, Mike from Better Call Saul. He's got that old man aura. Gyro has the opposite flavor of old man aura, where you're a silly little guy. You just happen to be 70 years old. He's gonna go sub-motion, but, like, this is me trying to counteract my bias. I love Gyro. Fox 2. Huskar. He's he's risking it all because of dying to Roche. That alone puts him in here, man. Huskar is a terrifying hero, but like you kill him once in the mid game and it's like, okay, we got it under control. And then God help you if you ever die to Roshan, and then it's like everyone hates you. Everyone thinks you're a B word. And it's not even necessarily your fault. A lot of people I don't know why so many people think this. Roche Bash does not have a timer on it. It can just happen 3 times in a row. It's a chance-based bash, same as like a Spirit Breaker. So if you're optimal as Huskar, you have to toggle the armlet every single time, and then there's still a chance even with armlet toggling between every hit of Roche perfectly, there is still a chance that you get fucked and die. And there's really nothing you can do about it, you know? But also, if you're doing that much, you are opening yourself up to the possibility of messing up your armlet toggle as well. So, like, you, in a weird way, you kind of can't win. Like, as Huskar, you can just get killed by Roche as a matter of RNG. And everyone will think it's your fault and you're a bitch. But in reality, you just rolled low, right? You have a 95% chance of taking Roche fine as long as you don't make mechanical mistakes. But there's always that 5% chance that Roche bashes 3 times in a row and you die. Why am I defending Huskar? What the fuck is wrong with me? Invoker. Ooh, people talk about Invoker all the time, but personally, I think, you know, I'm going to put him in Elite Aura Commander, I think. Invoker is a very big dick pick, especially if you're going into a matchup that isn't... Because Invoker does win a lot of matchups, but the thing is he doesn't dumpster anyone. No one's lane experience is truly countered by him. There's a couple heroes that you can kind of shit on if you're creative, like Zeus, for example. You can do Tornado into EMP over and over again. And if you do it right and you do it well, you're just going to drain all of his mana forever. And there's nothing you can do. It's really annoying. Like, even the E jump distance isn't enough to get out of the way. So if you're really good at stuff like that, you can cheese out a couple of matchups, but he is overall a fairly fair mid lane hero. Sunstrike being able to gank without actually having to gank, that's sort of an unfair advantage to him. But the mechanical complexity, he's got the pedigree and the legacy of picking him in the same way that, like, Earth Spirit has. And then you're also just Aura Core, which I think adds to it. I don't think there's going to be a lot of supports in Elite Aura Commander. I'm sorry about that. But that's the way it's going to be. He's pretty high up. He's pretty high up. Invoker will be our third entry into the Elite Aura Commander room. I said 4 to 6. There might be a few more, now that we're really getting into it. Io is an interesting one. I think it's risking it all as well. With Io, you can aura farm like crazy because you get the really good relocate saves. You like fly into the fight and you pop Guardian Greaves, and now your carries at full HP when they were about to die. There's a lot of opportunities to aura farm as Io, but you are also just like a flying testicle that can get popped like by anyone, and it really sucks to have that happen. Feeding on Io is one of the most pathetic experiences in all of Dota. You're crying. You're actually shedding tears when you're feeding on this hero. So I think risking it all is appropriate for Io. But like you can really reach the heights of Plug Walk, I think, if you're a really good Io player. A lot of aura if you're solo queuing Io as well in ranked. You got fat nuts, kid. Jakiro, there's not. I mean, you get the good ice paths, and your hero's walk animation is pretty good. I mean, flying animation for him. I think it's some motion, but like barely. You could put him in bitchless, and I wouldn't really argue with you much. Juggernaut, you can do some cool stuff with him. I'm a little bit biased because I've played a shitload of Juggernaut. But like one bad Omni, and it's a bit like Huskar in the sense that, like, the Omni really is just RNG. So sometimes it will just fly to a random creep and then kill it, and then the creep moved one hammer unit, and so you actually can't bounce back, and so your late game Omni ends after 2 slashes. And it's like, well, I guess we just lose. And that's a very frustrating thing to have happen, but it can happen. But a lot of people would call him bitchless. Offlane players would absolutely call him bitchless. I'm gonna put him in some motion, but he's like borderline risking it all. Remember that this is not necessarily more swag than the ones below it. It's just that this is a very risky character who could have high or low aura depending on what happens and how good you are. Kotal. Does he have motion in any capacity? I think he's bitchless. I think Kotal is bitchless. Mid Kotal is even bitchlesser than position 4 Kotal, or however people are playing him these days outside of mid. I don't really see a whole lot of him. He's not a popular pick, and for good reason. He has no swag. Kunkka, Plug Walk. He's got a lot. He's got a lot going on, dude. You pick up like 2 bracers and blade mail, and you just have to run away. The thing is, like, a lot of Plug Walk heroes are ones that you are sort of, you get aura'd, and you have to run away because you can't stand up to them. But the thing about Kunkka is that is true, but you also can't run away because of X marks the spot, which is a very swaggy skill with a lot of depth to it, and you have a ton of skill shots. Skill shots matter for swag as well. I think he is in Plug Walk. I think he is. I hate this hero, but I must admit that he has a lot of swag. Legion Commander. Jungle LC was bitchless faux show. I think she's got. If you're a carry player, I think she's like plug walk, but I think for everyone else, she's just some motion. Carry players really hate this hero, and for pretty good reason. She's gonna go here. Yeah, this sounds about right. You have a lot of fear for her, but it's also it has a bit of the Beastmaster element of just like ugh, Legion, where it's not like oh Legion, it's not respect or fear, it's disgust. You know, less rack, also some motion. Another hero that can deal a lot of damage while running at you. He might maybe there should have been a tier above some motion. That's where a couple of these heroes would go, but I don't mind this being a crowded tier. He's higher up on the some motion for sure because he just gets to walk at you. Like you pop nihilism, W, and ulti, and you just walk at people. And being able to deal damage while walking at people is a large element of aura in Dota. Lich is a very curious case. I part of me wants to put him in elite aura commander as support representation because he deserves it. He does. He's got. It's a bit of a contrast to the gyrocopter thing because I said the gyrocopter had that old man swag, but his is like a jovial kind. Lich is like an evil mastermind old man swag. He's an evil gyrocopter in his voice and his flavor and his personality, and he's got a great taunt, and his ulti is hilarious, and it's RNG based, but if it's bad, no one cares because you're a support, so you only can gain from it. The more I'm talking, the more I kind of want to put him in elite or a commander. Plus, he can be your Zaddy, and he can put the ice shield on you. We're putting him up here. this might be the hot take, but like supports need representation as elite aura commanders, and I think Lich has some of the most aura of any support. Plus, it's scary to land against him. Plus, you hate to see him picked on the enemy team. It's like he barely ticks every single box that you could possibly tick, but he ticks every single box that you could possibly tick. So we're gonna put him elite aura commander. He squeaks in here. This is such a weird assortment of heroes, but like you get the vibe, I think. Lifestealer, pretty bitchless. Pretty bitch. Well, you get those cool moments in the late game where you stay alive just by hitting people. You get those moments where like they burst you down to like a quarter HP, but you're able to pop rage and then just hit their offlaner, and so you like manage to live. And you might even be gaining HP in the process. And you've got the creep thing, but he's got that ugh quality, you know, in the same way that Beastmaster does, and yeah. Well, I think he's bitchless, but he's like high tier bitchless. He's high tier bitchless. I mean, he's not a Volcel the way that a few of these are, but you know, he's up there. Or down here, rather. Lena's got some motion. I think she might even be plug walk. Because of the Ags combos and stuff you can do that's got a lot of swag to it, where it's just like you are this fairly tanky hero, but Lena smelled you. She smelled you in the forest. She heard your feet and a little pitter patter, and now she's gonna get you. I don't know. You can also be a poor little meow meow as Lena though. We're gonna go some motion on her, but she's high tier some motion, a considerable quantity of motion. Lion. Great taunt. It's one of the first things I thought of. The do 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 do, and then he does the amen break for some reason. Like, boo boo boom boom. I think it's some motion for him, only because you are. It's kind of similar to Lena. It was funny is because you're position 5 and she's a position 2. I guess you guys can swap sometimes. I've played pos 5 and Lena. It's yeah. We're gonna put him here just because you really can get popped like a grape sometimes. And there's games as Lion where like once you start feeding, you can't stop. Like once they've gotten a taste of you, your game is done as a Lion. Lone Druid. What's that image where it's like, damn, bro, you smell like hot ass? And he's like, it's called Aura. This is, you know, ideally that would be Pudge, but I think it's actually Lone Druid. He's not bitchless, though. Because he's got that fear in him. That fear from him. You see him picked on the enemy team, and you're like, oh, shit. Yeah, some motion for him sounds appropriate, but he's got a bit of negative aura, but it's what he does to your brain when you're playing against him, and then it also invokes, like, hilarious tunnel vision. Like, picking Lone Druid makes the enemy team do weird things. Which I don't necessarily know if that's a component of aura, but hey, I'm making the tier list, so some motion for him, but only a little bit. Luna, pretty bitchless. There's nothing cool that you can do on Luna. I can't think of any, like, you can Manta dodge because you buy Manta every game, but, like, that's, oh, well, boo-hoo. There's so many other heroes that can do the exact same shit. Yeah, bitchless for Luna. Sorry, girl. Lycan, he's got some. He's got some motion. He's got some motion. He pops ulti and he runs at you, and you're like, ah. And he doesn't deal damage to you while moving, but he does mental damage to you by moving. So I feel like there's a little bit of that going on. And he's got the wolves. He's got cool voice lines. He can Roche. Yeah, we're gonna put him in some motion. Magnus, you're risking it all hard. It's been a minute, I think. Oh, IO. Uh, he's a character who you can either completely style on people like crazy. You can be like a Rise, or you can just feed out of your mind because you don't know your limits and you're doing the wrong things at the wrong time. It is very common to see Magnus players get the tiniest bit behind, and they decide the way that they're going to come back into the game is by biting off way more than they can possibly ever chew. And so you get them like jumping onto high ground to try to get that crazy pick that they really want, so that they have a highlight for their game. Because Magnus players are clip farmers 100%. But then you die, and it's like, well, okay. And then no one takes you seriously anymore. So you're risking it all with Magnus for sure. But you can be pretty high up if you're a really good Magnus player. Shout out to Rise. I don't know the guy personally. Mars. ATF really changed the game when it came to Mars Aura, because the way that Mars players play now is so different. They buy duels, but they also shoulder check people like crazy. I think it's some motion, but it is highly dependent on like the build that you do. Like there's Mars builds. I don't know if you guys have seen the like Ags build where you go like Desolator and Chrysalis, and like as a carry player, I look at that and I'm like, you moron! Like, look at your spells. Like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing right click Mars? But like, also it kind of bangs. Like, you hit W and supports just disappear from the map, which is a cool thing to see. And he's got like high impact spells. He's also got like that element of uninteractivity to him that I think matters. Less so than like Dawnbreaker. Dawnbreaker is the same, but she's probably going to go in Plug Walk. But he farms Aura. He farms Aura because he sings and he does his gay little dance. Okay, we're going to put him in Plug Walk. This hurts my soul to do it, but we're going to do it. There you go. Medusa. What's funny about her is she can be bitchless or elite aura commander, and that means you're risking it all. If you win, you have hella aura. If you lose, you're a piece of shit. And there's no in between. And when you pick Medusa, you were signing a contract with the rest of your team saying, I'm the main character and I'm the reason we will win or lose. So you are very much so risking it all. But it's a lot more like what happens versus how you do it with her versus pretty much anyone else. You can risk it all as a Huskar and die to Roche twice and like win the game, and it's like you're still lame. But as Medusa, you could be a total lame-o for like 45 minutes, but as long as you win the game, it's okay. Risking it all for sure. For sure. Meeps. Where does Meeps go? He's got a lot of the pick screen aura, and he's got all those skill shots. He's Plug Walk. I don't think he's quite elite aura commander, but he's definitely up here in terms of the fear that you put in the hearts of other Dota 2 players. Yeah. Plug Walk seems alright for him. He's very complicated to play. You're risking a lot. The thing about Meepo is like 1 or 2 deaths doesn't entirely lose you the game outright. And it's not like you have a bad ulti or anything like that. There's not like one particular instance. You can fuck up a poof, but like that's fine. I mean, it's not. You die as Meepo. When you die as Meepo, it's a really big deal. He's a bit like Tinker in the sense that you kill him once or twice and the game is just kind of over. But also, like, you can also feed out of your mind in the early game and it's okay, you know? Like, you can get ganked a couple times and have a bad death or 2 on Meepo, and you can still come back and be really good. We're going to put him in Plug Walk. We're going to put him in Plug Walk because of how much he warps the game. And it's scary to see him waddling towards you. You're like, oh no. Mirana. Mirana is a bit of an aura merchant. There have been a few games. The last 3 games I've played with the Mirana, I have not seen them hit a single arrow. Like, not a single one. Really important high-impact skill shot that is difficult to hit. And I think that alone puts her in some motion because you have the potential to land those juicy 5-second arrows. But for the most part, you are just sort of walking around hoping something good happens. Saved by the skill shot, low tier some motion. Monkey King. He's got. I want to call him bitchless so bad. I want to call him bitchless to his face. And if he kills me, that's okay. It proves me right. We're gonna go, but he's got the mischief dodges. He's got the tree dance stuff. He's got like the Qs. You can like intentionally, not intentionally, but you can get low and then you get Jingo Mastery procs and then hit Boundless Strike and you're full HP again. He's my hatred for Monkey King causes me to put him in some motion. But if someone else did this tier list, they could put him in Plug Walk, and I wouldn't sue you for copyright infringement. Morphling, he's got a lot, man. He's got a lot, and you're being risky. But his risking it all is like not as big of a deal as some other people's stuff. Like you go to 1 HP on Morphling and you get hit by a power shot and you die. It's like, well, fuck. But like but they still have to take you seriously. That's the thing. Is like one goofy mistake as this hero does not completely eliminate all your aura. Okay, we're gonna put him in risking it all because you also do have to come correct. You have to be really good at your hero, similar to the Brewmaster situation. If you're a Morphling and you're just like never using your ultimate, you're kind of a fraud. You're like a total fraud, actually. So he's gonna go in risking it all. If he had a model update, he could maybe go on Plug Walk. Naga Siren, risking it all, slam dunk, easy. Grief potential on your ultimate alone does it. I was playing with a Naga Siren carry the other day who was a monster. What were they doing? I think it was like they were using it just to counter Pudge ulti. Like someone on their team would get Pudge ulti and they would like song for a microsecond and then cancel it immediately. It was actually really funny. It was a really funny way to use Naga Siren ulti. And that added a lot to her ulti. Or to her aura, rather. So I think she puts herself in risking it all by a good amount, and then also if you're playing as position 1, it's a bit like Medusa in the sense of like, okay, I will win the game for us, guys. Don't worry. Yeah, we're gonna put her here. Nature's Prophet. He does have a lot of swag. He doesn't like. I hate this hero so much, but I think he's got a lot. You have to be terrified of him the entire game because of teleport. You're not safe no matter where you are. You could be under a ward for all you know. And like, maybe you're playing Slark, you know. But you get the idea. This is a character that constantly has to be in the back of your mind. You always have to think about him. He lives rent free, not only in your mind but also in your inventory. So we're gonna put him here because you have to carry a Quelling Blade. Some people get confused when I talk about how one of your item slots belongs to Nature's Prophet. That's why. So you have to buy a Force Staff or a Quelling Blade or Hurricane Pike or some other way to deal with it. Battle Fury Chaos Knight. Kind of redundant because you have your W, but you get the idea. Necrophos, pretty bitchless. I love this hero, and yes, your ults can be flashy, and you can do the like 100 to 0 burst if you go like the E-Blade Dagon route, Shivas, which people don't really do anymore, but like you'll sometimes see Dagon if they're really getting out of control. Bitchless for sure. Bitchless for sure. Part of what he this is another hero where it's like it's called aura, bro. And it's like you just smell like shit. This is a very good example of that. Night Stalker's got Plug Walk, dude. Great voice lines, very scary to play against. You have to spend a good chunk of the game terrified of him, depending on what position you're playing. He gets BKB Harpoon, and it's like, well, I'm just gonna die. And there's not much you can do about it. You know, eventually you can get your nully, but like, it's not enough. It's not enough. Plug Walk for him. Great, he oozes swag, but maybe not to the highest degree. You could make an argument for Elite Aura Commander for him, but also during the daytime, he's a weenie. He's a little weenie. So you're gonna spend like, you know, accounting for your old what 40% of the game as like unplayable garbage, and that does a lot of damage. But he still manages to get into Plug Walk because of how insane he is at night. Nyx Assassin. Oof. He's another risking it all because you can feed like crazy on this hero, and once you start, you can't stop. And then also, you are so useful until you suddenly aren't. You die an early twink death whenever you're playing as Nyx Assassin. Because one Vendetta gank doesn't work. They put down enough sentries to like catch you, or they start playing grouped up, and it's like you're now a completely useless hero. You're just an XP vacuum while you waddle around the jungle while your carry farms mud golems. Yeah, risking it all for him. Ogre Magi. He's got motion. Ogre got motion, dude. If I shouldn't have to explain it. He's got some. He's got the 4x minus. He's got the 4x fire blasts. He makes you faster and gives you attack speed. That's dope. It's nice to see an ogre on your team. You don't always want to be laning with him if you're also a melee hero, because dual melee lanes are not fun, but he's got some motion to him. Shout out to gambling, similar to CK, but CK's all the way up here for different reasons. Not Chaos Knight, Omni Knight. Sort of the diametric opposite of him. Is he bitch? He's bitchless. He combines many elements of the other bitchless heroes. He's like Chen minus the micro, which is a big part of why Chen is up here, the micro shenanigans. With him, it's like you get the groan, because if you pick him as a pause 3 and you're playing against a pause 3 Omni Knight and you're a melee core, you're just gonna get Hammer of Purity over and over again, and that sucks and it's annoying. And then if you're a support, you know he's gonna get Echo Saber and he's just gonna blow you. Omni Knight be doing things to supports, dude. It's nuts. You see an Omni Knight walk out of the tree line and harpoon your pause 5, and you're just like, well, he's gonna be the blood sacrifice at the Diddy party for the Omni Knight. It's difficult, but it's fun to be that guy. But relative to everyone else and the way they perceive him, he's pretty much just bitchless. And then half of his kit is literally just buff dispensers, which doesn't help too much. He's gonna go in bitchless. I like some of the heroes in bitchless, by the way. I like Drow. I like Omni. I play a lot of Necrophos. It doesn't mean that they're bad heroes. It just means they don't have any aura. Oracle, he's got a lot. One of the things about Oracle, yeah, he's plug walk. 100%. I didn't even have to think. My hands just moved. I got taken over. Your ultimate warps the game in such a way that everyone has to think about you. False Promise is great. You can be super flashy with the saves. It's very funny seeing the end of a False Promise and you've been laying into someone and they're somehow still at like 3/4 HP. You've got some really powerful spells. In the lane, you're funny. You can actually aura farm a bunch of other heroes because you have the best early game dispel in the entire game on a low cooldown that also does damage and doesn't stun. It roots or whatever, or binds, whatever it's called, leashes. It's too many words in Dota. OD, super bitchless. Super bitchless. Of all the emotions that are elicited by the characters down here, the ones that just make everyone go, ugh. The Beastmaster effect happens for Beast Friend, happens for every single part of OD from every single person in the game. He might have some of the least aura of anyone. It's just pure ugh. Ugh. Disgusting. Disgusting. They say in Ireland. Yeah, he's down here for sure. He's got a lot of aura in the context of pulling up to the mid lane against a matchup that can't do anything against an OD. But like, oh my god. Pengoiler. Pengoiler is a lot. he's actually elite aura commander. Get out of here, ads. The thing about Pango is like, in every way that a character can have swag, he has swag. The only sort of missing thing for him is you could argue he doesn't have a skill shot, but like he does. He has multiple skill shots. Is Pango ulti a skill shot? I'm going to say yes for the purposes of this. And then from a flavor perspective, very few have nearly as much swag as Pangolier. And despite being one of the DLC characters that was only recently added to the game, I say recently, it was like 5 years ago, but you get the idea, he wasn't in Dota 1. Of all the Dota 2 exclusives, post 7.00, he probably has... Is he tied with Mars in terms of like importance in the pro scene? I would argue he's slightly higher because of his connection with certain players, so I don't even have to name. And it's more than just him. Like, Pango is a very popular pick in professional play for good reason. So not only does he have a bunch of skill shots, and his flavor is, like, perfect for swag, but he also has the, like, high-level play pedigree that is really important for this sort of thing. So I think he's up in Elite or a Commander. Yeah, I think he's up here. Phantom Assassin. She's got some motion of all the carries. Being able to just come out of nowhere and instantly obliterate you before you have time to react is a pretty aura-enhancing thing to be able to do. And then she's also got mobility, no skill shots or anything like that. But as far as carries go, she definitely has more motion than Luna and Drow, for sure. She's going to go in some motion. Phantom Lancer, kind of an aura merchant, to be completely honest. I think he's in risking it all for similar reasons as Medusa and Naga Siren, where if you win, it's cool and you're dope. But also, like, I think PL players have way more swag perceived of them by people who don't play PL. I don't want to go into another rant about how PL is not a hard hero, but like trust me, he isn't, especially now with the phylactery bullshit that you can do. MMR scam Phylactum Lancer might be coming soon, by the way. Depends. I don't know if they're going to drop 7.40C this Thursday and nerf him to shit, but he might be getting an MMR scam video soon. Y'all seem to like those. Phoenix. He's got a lot. Is he plug walk? He's got a bit of the Beast Friend effect, but also he's got multiple skill shots, super weird mechanics, and then he's the squaws. His squawks add a lot to his aura. I think not talking helps quite a bit. And Marcy's going to be at the end. So is this their first? Well, Io doesn't talk either, and he was in risking it all, but he can definitely be in plug walk. Phoenix isn't quite as risky, even though he has egg. And even outside of egg, he still has swag. So we're going to put him up here. He's pretty high up here. It's funny to me. The ratios are actually like more even than I expected them to be. I thought it was going to be like more than half the cast in some motion, but we've seen a lot of diversity. Puck. Ooh, is he also Elite Aura Commander? A good Puck is like insane. And even a not that good Puck is still plug. Like, even if you're kind of a bad Puck, you're still good. There's a couple matchups that really fuck you up. Good and hard in the traditional fashion. But for the most part, you have a ton of aura and you're really good at using it. It's productive aura. And then the voice lines. Oh my god, the voice lines. We're putting him in Elite Aura Commander for sure. Oh my god. Puck's voice lines, like some of them are really brutal. They kind of give the image of him as his character design being like this being that is so impossibly old, but also a baby that they have no like understanding of the results of the things they're doing. So what's the line where like they die and he's like, "My toys are broken." He says something like that. He has a lot of really cool voice lines similar to that, and then he also taunts you by default with the like, "Surprise, here I am." That one's cool. We're gonna put him up in Elite Aura Commander. Get up if you can. You are most welcome. Pudge. Man, Pudge is so hard. No, he's not. It's risky at all. It all depends on if you can hit hooks or not. A good Pudge in the landing phase, when they're able to hook people under tier 1s a lot and like body block to get kills, is terrifying to play into. It is some of the like worst, most frustrating things. I recently played a game where I had a Pudge 5 and I was playing as Muerta, and I trusted him. If you can trust a Pudge, it's like the best thing in the world. You know, he didn't hit every hook, but what he would do is he would hook them into that little crevice in the Radiant tier 1 just below the tree line, and then I would bounce a dead shot off the tree and then make them run towards the tier 1 tower itself. And he and I like farmed a Rubik. We had like 4 deaths in the landing phase. It was a good time. But that is like a rare outcome of having a Pudge player. Most of the time they just sit around scratching their own ass, doing literally fuck all and giving the enemy team wand charges, and like that's all they do. So risking it all for him. But, you know, a good Pudge has supreme aura. Up here, maybe the peaks, you get Elite Aura Commander. Dendy type shit is in EAC. But like Pudge players on balance are like pretty shitty at the hero. Pugna. I think Pugna is just annoying enough to be able to be in Plug Walk. The Plugna. Great voice lines, really funny play patterns. Netherblast is totally a skill shot for sure. Netherward is very funny. You can make funny plays with Decrep. Yonder I wonder. Great voice lines, great walk animation. Yeah, pretty much almost all of the boxes that you can tick. Plug Walk for sure. It's the reason they're the channel mascot. It's because of their swag. Queen of Pain. Definitely not bitchless. She is the bitch. Plug Walk? I don't know. She can be like pretty nerdy. The current way that you play Queen of Pain is like a pretty nerdy way to do it, with like Shiva's Guard and Blade Mail and just like actually being a tank instead of doing anything else with the is it Bondage or Masochist? I can't remember the name of the facet, but the one that like reflects damage or whatever. It's difficult to rate her. Her aura is varies wildly, but not in a way that would put her in risk at all. I'm gonna put her in some motion, but like she's top of some motion. She's very high up. Her ulti is the skill shot. Razor, kind of an aura merchant. It's mostly I'm putting him in plug walk. You have to run away from him. He deals a lot of damage while he walks. His Q is a skill. Yeah, his Q is a skill shot. He's got a lot going for him. Everyone has to be scared of him. He's very not tanky, but like his passive actually makes us kind of a pain in the ass to kill him. And his voice lines are like oozing the swag. He's got a lot. Speaking of oozing swag, we're approaching the S's, and you know what that means. Ricky. Some motion. You have the cool dodges. Mostly just annoying, though. And his voice lines don't help him. There's a Ricky voice line that I'm 100% convinced was meant to be a Witch Doctor voice line, but they messed it up, and they put it in the wrong folder, and so Ricky says it instead. I can't remember. It's like the quietly now. he says it in a Witch Doctor cadence, and they have the same voice actor, I think. Rubik, he's got a lot. Well, he might be risking it all. I'm going to put Rubik in risking it all. It really depends on how good of a Rubik player you are and the game state that you're in. Because it isn't just enough to be a good Rubik player. You also need good spells to steal and good ways to use them. And that isn't always the case for young Ruby. Sometimes there are shit Rubik games and you just kind of waddle around and you're a bad pause 4. And then you get jumped on and you die because you don't have any good defensive tools and the enemy don't have any to steal. But other times you get like Shikuchi Firestorm and it's like, woohoo! You just run around being a goddamn menace. Risking it all, but it's not as dependent on the Rubik player as it is on the situation that they find themselves in. Sand King has some motion. He's got a little bit. You can do the fun, you set up Caustic Finale, Burrow Strike, and then you blow everyone up. Or you can just sit there and Sandstorm, which is the Dota 2 equivalent of just like chilling in your mom's basement for the entirety of the laning phase. Which, a lot of Dota players are doing that anyway. No matter what hero they pick, they are in their mom's basement for the laning phase. Some motion for him. Just because you make bombastic entries into team fights. Like, very few ultimates have the sense of impending, like, whoa! As like a Sand King popping ulti and jumping in and burrow striking 3 heroes and popping Sandstorm and doing all of his bullshit. So yeah. Yeah, and Stinger is funny. Stinger is a really dumb ability. I still don't fully understand why they thought it'd be a good idea to give him a right-click ability, but it's got swag. That much I must admit. Okay, we have, wait, is it 8 per row? It is. 46 heroes left. Okay, we're about 2/3 of the way through. Shadow Demon. Yeah. I think he's got some motion. Well, hold up. He might be plug walk. I think he is. I think he is plug walk. A big part of it is his walking animation. I was kind of on the fence, and then I remember, like, he like does the shoulder walk. What's the meme of like the 3 pirates from that Russian cartoon, and they're like all walking in a row? Dude, that's how Shadow Demon walks. that's just what he does. He does the shoulder sway. He's doing the rumba whenever he walks around, and he's got a funny haste running animation as well. He's plug walk, not just because of that, it's also because of gameplay mechanics, because you have Shadow Poison, which is an easy skill shot, but you have to hit it several times. He also can like kind of jump scare you once he gets to 3, and then he hits his Q on you, and then he applies it to you again, and then he pops it, and you take a shitload of damage. There's some really funny tips and tricks you can do with him. There's some really cool defensive applications as well. Disseminate is a weird ability, and no one fully knows how it works, not even the Shadow Demon players themselves. And then, perhaps one of the most aura things you can do. I don't know if you can still do it. It used to be a thing I saw every now and again. You use his Q, you put him in the bubble, and then if you stand in a specific spot, you can actually completely body block them and they can't move. And so you just wail on them with their own illusions and your own right clicks, and they can't run away. I don't think it works on heroes with smaller collision sizes like Naga and PL, and there's a few others as well, including some weird ones. But you get the idea. Like, you can just body block someone right from the start of the game and potentially just right-click them to death if they don't have anything to do about it. And that is one of the most aura things, one of the best ways you could swag on someone at level 1. So we're going to put him in plug walk. Shadow Fiend is an elite aura commander, 100%. Name another Dota 2 character that has spawned an entire online sub community in Russia. I've actually been told that it's a Ukrainian thing, so I guess a Ukrainian thing, of the ZXC lifestyle, which are the legacy keys for Shadow Races. I don't know anyone who still uses legacy keys, and I know people who have been playing since Dota 1. That shit is all over the place. I am not hitting P in order to cast a spell. Anyway, Shadow Fiend has multiple builds, several skill shots built into his kit. He has a metric shitload of flavor when it comes to his swag, because his walk animation is hilarious. He also, just like Shadow Demon, he's got the rumba whenever he walks, which is fantastic. All of his skins add a lot to his aura as well, even though we're not counting those. But you get the immortals where he claws the ground. God damn, that shit is so lit. There's also the culture of like first picking Shadow Fiend, which is a very consistent thing throughout the history of Dota, where if you lock Shadow Fiend in the first phase or you first pick him, you are loudly announcing, I'm the best player in this lobby, none of you can fucking touch me. Watch this shit, bro. And very few characters can emulate that same degree of swag. He can outplay you in the lane. He says outplayed out loud. He's got amazing voice lines. Literally everything that could possibly make a hero swaggy is on Shadow Fiend. He is elite swag. I don't know if we're going to be ordering this tier list. Probably not. At least this top row. Shadow Fiend is number one. He is the swaggiest hero in the game, and it's not close. You know, second would like maybe be Puck, and it's a distant second. Like, and there's a few other heroes that I think could contest with Puck in terms of swag, like Pangolier or Doom or Arc Warden. But Shadow Fiend is number one. He reigns supreme. ZXE, baby. Dead, Inside, Ghoul. Which one's the smile up? Is it N parenthesis or open parenthesis? I think it's the N one that's smile. Shadow Shaman. He's got some motion. The sideline bandit got a little bit to him. You get those really long chain stun situations. It's always really funny when you get the solo kills using snakes, just because it does a shitload of physical damage. There's a few elements of Shadow Shaman that I think give him a little bit of motion. It's not much, but a little bit. He's up here for similar reasons as Lion. Another hero, though, that once you start feeding, it's really hard to stop. Silencer, bitchless, but he likes it that way. True Cell, forever committed to the cause. Yeah. He's I shouldn't have to explain. One of his ultimate is literally he shuts down everyone's aura, except for the ones on his team, I suppose. Skywrath Mage. He's got some motion. Part of me wants to put him even higher up. Well, core Skywrath Mage is probably plug walk territory. I think support is some motion. Because you can do some funny things, and then Conk Shot is a hilarious ability and allows you to deal damage while moving, which is a cool thing to do. So we're going to put him in some motion, but it's a very strong some motion. He would be like in the top 5 of the heroes I see here. Slardar. It will never not be funny seeing a Slardar in the late game blink on top of a pause 5 and just boop, and just erase them from existence with like 2 hits. Like Echo Saber and the Bash is primed for the second one, and the first hit does like a quarter of your HP because you have -8 armor, and it's like, wow, that really hurt. I hope I don't die. And then you get bashed, and it deals somehow like 1200, and you just die. It's so funny. I don't know why it does that. Like, the math does not add up with Slardar. His aura is strong enough that it breaks math itself. Numbers kneel before the fish. Some motion for him. Slark, I mean, offlaners will say he's bitchless, and he himself will say he's bitchless because he hasn't spawned yet. I think... No, you can do so many flashy things with Slark. Like, you can dispel stuff in a really cool... Dispelling is itself a really cool way to express one's aura, and then on top of that, it's that cool delay. So you need to predict things, and you need to sort of outplay them, and then Pounce is a funny ability. Slark's Pounce, by the way, looks dumb as shit. Like, really look at his model when he casts Pounce. It looks like when you throw a plushie across the room. That's like what it looks like when he casts Pounce. Woo! That doesn't help much. But, yeah, there you go. Snapfire. old woman swag, in the same way the gyrocopter had old man swag. She's a little bit less jovial, I think. Skill shots. Technically, her entire kit is either skill shots or right click enhancements. I think that alone puts her in some motion, but like, eh. You could put her in bitchless, and I wouldn't be too upset about it. Sniper, bitchless. Absolute bitchless. The only way you can have aura as sniper. This is another supreme example of the brew friend or beast friend. Jesus, the beast friend effect, where it's like, where you're not impressed. It's just like, oh, I gotta deal with this fucking guy. Now you play support sniper and you get 18 kills in the landing phase, then you're all right. But until then, like, no, shut up, dude. Spectre is an interesting one. I think this is a character who can have a lot of aura if you are very far ahead, but if you don't win the game outright, well, the pressure isn't as big on you anymore as it used to be back when the Spectre was like this super crazy hyper carry, even though Haunt is back now. I think she's got some motion. Only because, you know, there are times when you are playing against a Spectre and you're in the jungle and you're really like Eternal Envy style farming, and then they hit the ulti and then they kill you on accident. Or even worse, you die to a neutral. Which isn't as good for the Spectre, but it feels even worse for you. And then you're dead for longer too. So a lot of aura loss is propagated by a Spectre, and the Spectre themselves can have a little bit, but I don't think they have the ceiling that a few of the heroes that are up here have. So some motion for Spectre for sure. Spirit Breaker. Got a lot. a lot of aura, because not only do you have the bash, right? That's the first thing people think of, is that 17% that is not 70%. But you also have the Charge of Darkness, right? So you can be anywhere on the map and you have to be worried. And he alone completely alters your like macro plans. There are times where like you as a carry really want to get that next creep wave, you want to push forward for it, but you know that if you do, they have a Spirit Breaker on the enemy team, so you can't do it, and you have to go into the jungle. And so he is, similar to Nature's Prophet, always in the back of your mind. You have to be afraid of the Spirit Breaker, because if you're not afraid, you're going to die. So he's going to go on Plug Walk for sure. Plus, he's just, I don't know. It's not so much his voice lines. He's got a great taunt where he does the bucking bronco style shit. But his voice lines are good. His actual character model itself is whatever. But it is very scary to see a Spirit Breaker running at you. And God forbid your whole team is in front of you when he scores a strike. Storm has got a lot. Storm has got a lot. Very similar to Pangolier in terms of the flavor contributions. Really funny voice lines. Great walk animation too. He's got the shoulder shuffle, but he also is moving the forearms as he goes. I'm doing it in real life right now, just to really feel it out. And I feel full of aura, bursting at the seams with swag. And then also, he's terrifying. Like, you're support playing against a Storm who has a lot of Galvanized stacks, and it's like, well, shit. I don't get to play the game. So he's going to go up here. He is a little bit vulnerable in some mid lane matchups, which can hurt his swag quite a bit, and I'm having a stroke now. But on balance, he's Plug Walk tier swag. He's got quite a bit. A lot of legacy to him as well. Sven really can just like two-shot you, and that gives him some aura, but that's really all he's got going for him. You know, one of the, you as a Sven player, you feel like you have a lot of swag, but you have that like, you know, you're the coolest kid at like Bible camp when you're playing as Sven. You one-shot the creep wave with a Crystallis crit, and you're like, yeah, it feels good. Or you chow down on a fat ancient stack in like 5 hits, and you're like, yeah, feels good. But no one else is impressed. It's really just you. Playing Sven is the process of figuring out how fast you can pat yourself on your own back. Techies is a weird one. I wouldn't call what he has swag. I wouldn't call it aura either. I don't know. He's such a weird one. I think it's in Risk It All. You are making a lot of risks constantly when you're playing as Techies, not only in the sense of like, hey, I'm going to jump into this field of heroes and go on 1 HP and maybe disarm them to the point where I don't die, but also it's like I'm putting down all these red mines. I hope they're useful someday. You know? You can't win. You can't win 100% when you're playing as Techies. You're another character who is sort of taking the aura war into the PvP zone because you're attempting to ruin the enemy team's aura by like tricking them into running into a field of red mines and dying, which eliminates all aura, negative social credit. But you yourself don't have a, I don't know. Old techies had aura for days. That's all I know. That's why the techies players are mad that they removed him from the game and replaced him with this fucking sock puppet version of the hero. It's because they took all their aura away. Templar Assassin has got some motion. Side blades. That's a big part of it. You're in a fight and you're side blading people and they're not moving out of the way. It feels hilarious. You basically just have a DD. Not in the sense that your individual attacks are dealing more damage, but you're dealing that same amount of damage to multiple people at a time. And then if you're in the mid lane and you're able to really line up the side blades really well, you know, you hit the melee creep and the range creep and them behind it, it's like, yeah, feels good. And you have meld, and you can pop people out of nowhere, and supports are terrified of you, and you have, well, the vision game doesn't really add a whole lot of aura to you, but it's nice to have. Some motion for her, for sure. You could argue plug walk and I wouldn't be upset because of what like double meld can do to objectives. That's got some swag to it, but you know, it's fine. Refraction is a funny ability to use, but it's also something that you can really take advantage of, and certain heroes don't mind it at all. So, Blade, he's got a lot of aura. Is he in risking at all? Yeah, he's very similar to Anti-Mage in the sense that like, well, he's not as bad as Anti-Mage, but with him, you're also the enemy team really wants to make you sad when you're playing as Terrorblade, and if you can make them sad instead, it's very scary to do. And his design is just leaking aura. It's insane. It's coming out of the walls. His flavor text is ass. They give negative aura. Go read Terrorblade's flavor text right now. It's so bad. It's hilariously bad. Go read it. It's the only thing I think of when I look at Terrorblade. Is like, yeah, you're cool, and your impact on the gameplay. Eternal Envy, MLG Columbus, the peak swag of any character. Was it MLG Columbus? Maybe was it ESL? What was it? Whatever, you know the one. Go look up. Just ban the Terrorblade. Go look up that video. Watch it and tell me this hero doesn't have hella aura. I want to move him into plug walk, but I won't. Tide Hunter. Is he bitchless? He might be bitchless. There's not a whole. I think it's bitchless. Even when the Tide Hunter is having an amazing game and is a high impact character, you're rarely impressed by anything he's doing. Oh, you hit a 5-man Ravage. Just fucking my grandma can hit a 5-man Ravage. My dog can hit a 5-man Ravage. And I don't even have a dog. Timbersaw, plug walk. I hate the zero, but he belongs up here, dude. Terrifying, super fun to play. Skill shots at the wazoo, percentage based damage. He's a melee caster who's a strength hero. Like he has pretty well. He's universal, I think. But you get the idea. He's about as swaggy as you could possibly be for an offlaner. I put so many offlaners in the bitchless category down here in the start of this. Now they're getting their flowers, dude. He's up here in plug walk, 100%. Tinker, bitchless. Tiny, well, hold up. Whoa, Tiny, where did you go? Here he is. He just disappeared off the face of the earth. The reason why Tinker is bitchless is because I keep calling it the Brewmaster effect. Jeez, the Beastmaster effect, the Beast Friend effect. In reality, it is the Tinker effect that trickles down to everyone else. And your own team hates you. Like, everyone hates you when you pick Tinker. And that's the reality of it. And it's not a fear kind of hate. It's just a hate. It's just, ugh. We have to buy a nullifier, and we have to kill him once. And Tinker players themselves don't do this any favors, because you kill a Tinker once, and they're like, GG. Game's over. Peace. My team sucks. Bitchless. Bitchless hero. No offense to the Tinker players, though. You guys are skilled at the game. You know, this isn't that the hero isn't impressive or low skill or anything like that. It's just it has no aura. Negative aura. Tiny, he's got some motion. Is he plug walk? He's plug walk until he hits level 6. When you are levels 1 through 5 is tiny, you're plug walk. And then when you're levels 19 through 30, you're plug walk. But it's that middle phase where you're somehow being normal, medium sized takes away his swag. So we're gonna put him in plug walk, but like it's because of fucking when he's a little pebble walking around tossing you under tower. And then when he's a big boy, two-shotting you, that's when he has plug walk aura, which is the majority of the game. He's going to spend the majority of most games in those forms, so we're going to put him in there. Treant Protector. A pleasant bitchless. A pleasant and pleasing bitchless. Fall Cell status, Enchantress, Silencer. Whoa. This is where he belongs. And that's okay. Troll has some motion. A lot of Troll's motion comes from his ultimate. That is the main source of his swag. I don't think any other part of his kit really gives him a whole lot, but I wouldn't say that people are particularly upset to see him from either perspective. And then there is that element of like, oh shit, they have a troll. All of our buildings are going to die. There is a element of like, how are we going to deal with this ultimate? So he does stay a little bit in the back of your mind, but not in the same way that a lot of the assassin type characters do. I'm going to put him in some motion. He requires other people to change to fit him. He is the problem. And it's swag to be the problem. Dusk! Dusk is Plug Walk. He might actually be Elite Aura Commander, dude. If you're a really, really... He's up here. Yeah. If you're a really, really good Tusk player, dude, you can ball the fuck out. And his voice is hilarious. His lines are so funny. He, as just a character design, is hilarious. And his swag comes from multiple places. So you have Walrus Punch, right? Which is awesome. That's a hilarious ability. Chucks you up into the air. There's only like, what, 4 abilities? The Impales from Lion and Nyx Assassin, Kunkka Torrent. Well, Toss, so 5. It's difficult to make a Dota hero approach the camera, but Tusk does it with alarming regularity and high impact, and also a shitload of damage. I think he is Elite Aura Commander, because not only does he have that, but he also has the Snowball, which is one of the sickest defensive tools in all of Dota. It's awesome. I love it. So, he's going to go here. He's going to go an Elite Aura Commander. It's a synthesis of the flavor and everything else. He doesn't really have a skill shot, but you could argue that Ice Shards and like positioning it properly is a skill shot, and in which case, and I would probably agree with you there, so Elite Aura Commander. There you go. More supports, sometimes. I had a mid Tusk Rush Armlet the other day. We lost. Underlord, pretty bitchless. There's no shame in this. It's a bit of a shame, though, because he is an aura character. He's like the best aura carrier in the game, and yet he himself has no aura. Curious, liberal. There's nothing cool about him. The coolest thing you can do about him is you get into those super late game situations, and you like drop a portal, and you all run and backdoor the Ancient. How often does that happen? Like that shit never happens. It's very rare. But sometimes. There is a bit of an oh shit element to him, like teleporting into the middle of a team fight. Like you're ganking someone and then the portal goes down and then it's like, well. But even then, that's not like an immediate threat because you know it's going to be a few seconds for the Underlord to pop through. I always thought that Underlord should be able to just like go through the portal as soon as he puts it down in like a half a second. That to me would always seem cool. You know, if he wants to go through it again, maybe it takes him longer. But he should be able to go through the portal faster because it's his house. It's his thing. He should know it better. He should know its ins and outs. Undying. Does he have swag? He's got a funny taunt. And he's got some funny voice lines, but I don't think those funny voice lines contribute to his aura, because he's not smug. He's just a weirdo who wants gummy vitamins. So you buy an apple from the store and the apple is dirty. And you won't drink the water from the sink because the water from the sink is dirty. But if you wash the apple in the water from the sink, it's clean. Do you understand? Undying's in some motion. Ursa. Is he bitchless? No, he kills you too fast. Some motion. Having that insane burst damage and just being this like insane threat and being able to literally aura farm in the middle of a team fight. You blink in and you pop ulti and they cast literally every spell in the book at you. And you just kind of look at him funny. That's always good. And you can do really funny things with it because it has the instant cast point and it's like an instant way to get what's it called? Status resistance. So there are times where like a Legion jumps in, you hit ulti on reaction, and now the duel is like 2 seconds long and you're invincible during it, and that's very funny. You can style on people if you have good reaction timing as Ursa. You used to be able to do it with the shard, but not anymore. Because Valve hates me, personally. Vengeful Spirit, you can do some cool plays with her, for sure. It's the ulti. The ulti is where almost all of her swag comes from. And that's really it. And also she hits you hard for some reason. Core Venge has no swag. Super bitchless, but some motion if you're playing her as God intended. God is Ice Frog in this context. Venomancer, you can do some funny things as this hero. I talk about body blocking with the Venom wards fairly frequently, and you can still do it in quite a few different situations, but one of the best places to do it was on the bridges, near the hot tubs by the offlane tier 1s. It was so thin before that you could plop one down in the middle of it, and it effectively body blocked them. But you can't do that anymore, because they made it wider, and that makes me sad. It was weird before that. It just kind of felt like you were walking along a tightrope on those weird little bridges. So, you know, it makes sense why they did it, but Venom lost some aura because he's no longer able to do that. He makes you pregnant. Some motion. Some motion. He can cancel your blink. Some motion. Just a bit. Not much. He squeaks into some motion. Viper is bitchless. This is a very bitchless character. A lot of moaning and groaning and bitching about this hero whenever it gets picked. They always go the wrong item build. And then on top of that, not only are you bitchless, you're somehow also risking it all. Because if you have a bad lane as Viper, like if you go for a side lane Viper and you get farmed, it's like, well, shit. The game is just kind of over before it began. You're never going to make it. He goes in bitchless for sure. Very little aura on this character. Visage has aura. Visage has aura. Plugwalk for sure. The unnerfable king. The only problem with Visage is like, where do you like? I still don't fully understand. I guess he's a pause 3 assassin type pause 3 character, but like, geez, you can play him as a mid, you can play him as either support role. I've never seen Visage carry, but like, I'm sure it'll happen at some point. Visage carry, whichever one's right. Soul Assumption is hilarious. It's a spell that gives you PTSD very early on in the game for no reason. The babies are so annoying. He has shooters. He literally has shooters. His ultimate is he summons his dope boys and they come and they gun you down. That adds a lot to his aura. Plugwalk. Void Spirit has aura. Somehow. He's kind of an aura fraud. Is he Plugwalk? I think he's Plugwalk. He is a spirit, and the spirits have aura for the most part. Now I'm struggling to remember. Storm, where's Earth Spirit? Yeah. Ember Spirit is actually the only spirit down here because he's risking it all. Because he's Ember Spirit, he's more susceptible to shit matchups because he's melee and a mid. Void Spirit is also melee and a mid. The thing is, he doesn't suffer nearly as bad from the other bad matchups. And then his aura is kind of hollow. It's a fake aura because he's nowhere. Well, he's a difficult character to play, kind of, but like he's not nearly as difficult as a lot of the other spirits are to play to the maximum potential. Void Spirit, you can make a lot more mistakes on. I'll say that, and it's okay. You have a lot of get out of jail free cards built into your kit. Storm Spirit's get out of jail free card is his ultimate. Void Spirit's aura though just comes from being a spirit, and he's got great voice lines, and he like aura farms. Like his idle stance when you look at him in the main menu, when he goes up on one leg, that's aura farming right there. He might as well be on top of a light pole in the closing shot of an anime scene. Plugwalk, for sure. Warlock has swag, dude. I think he's also an elite aura commander. So one of the things about supports that have no defensive options is it's like, yeah, they just kind of have to walk away from you. But Warlock is so susceptible and lacks any defensive options whatsoever that oftentimes if you go on him, he will just start right-clicking you instead because he knows he's going to die. And he's like, fuck it, kill me. I'm old. I've lived a full life. And just will start boxing you. He's got the golem, he's got hilarious voice lines, and his walk animation, dude. His like he is an old man, but his shuffle is that of a spry young man. Like he's so youthful in his gait. I think Warlock is elite aura commander. Plus, you stir the soup on him, it makes everyone upset. Fatal Bonds is a hilarious spell. Like, there's so much swag potential in Warlock, but it really depends on the right player to bring it out. But even if you aren't the right player, you will still bumble your way into swag. You can fumble the aura and then get it back anyway, just by being the hero that you are. This might be a hot take. I think he has insane swag. And then you have Girls Night too, where you can just win the game on your own. You can be like, fuck it, I'm tired of playing Dota, and you can just end the game. And that's cool. It's a cool thing to be able to do. Weber. He two-shots you with Geminate when he gets like Deso Chrysalis, and that's very funny. So, I think he's in some motion. He should maybe be higher, but I think he leans more towards annoying rather than aura. So, some motion for him. Some motion for the bug. All right, Wind Ranger, multiple power shots, deal damage while moving. Is she plug walk? The thing that really makes me question it is because Wind Rangers do the dumbest shit, dude. Something about playing this hero makes people morons. I don't get it. Like you will see Wind Rangers do the dumbest things. I think plug walk, but like, man, I no, it's risking it all. It's risking it all for Wind Ranger because if you hit those like long range power shot chains, it's like you're a god. The enemy team is going to be terrified of you for the rest of the game. But if you're a bad Wind Ranger and you're not playing the game good, everyone thinks you're a joke. Everyone on your team and on the enemy team like will no longer be able to take you seriously, and you become a minor nuisance because of Shackle Shot still being annoying. But like you'll see Wind Rangers like ulti a Tidehunter and do literally 0 damage, and they're like still trying to stay on top of him, and it's like, girl, what are you doing? Like it's risking it all just because Wind Ranger players tend to be dumb. But like, if you're a good Wind Ranger player, you have a lot. You have a lot of aura. I don't think you're quite an elite aura commander range, but plug walk for sure. Wyvern, risky pick, and that helps quite a bit. I think she's also risking it all. Very high risk spells on this character, and if you're good at her, you're good at her, and if you're bad, you're bad, and everyone hates you. It's the only saving grace of this is that the enemy team will be thankful that you're shit. It's because a good wyvern is scary, but like there's a ceiling to it. But a bad wyvern, there is no floor. You can be a shit wyvern player. The enemy team will like you at least, which helps you. Risking it all, but the ceiling is low and the floor is fucking dig a hole all the way to the center of the earth, and that's your floor. The doctor. The doctor has plug walk. Dude. Terrifying hero. Maledict makes you just have to run away from him. The heal is hilarious. You can heal while moving, which is also a cool thing to be able to do. His ulti has a shitload of late game potential, and his walk animation is funny. Everyone likes his voice lines. He's got that old man jovial swag, similar to Gyrocopter, but unlike Gyrocopter, he's a motherfucking menace, and people have to be terrified of you from the beginning to the end of the game, and for different reasons. Multiple sources of aura. So he's going to go up here and plug walk. Plus, his walk animation is hilarious. Look at it go. Wraith King. Mechanically, none. He's saved by the flavor. His voice lines are hilarious. He's got some of the... I spam the thank you voice lines a lot in Dota, just as a better way of just being like, hey, thank you for the tango. And his is like, I'll help my weak and puny allies when I can. And I feel bad. There's a few characters that have toxic thank you voice lines. And he's one of them. Underlord is also, I do not thank. It's hilarious. But, you know, the player behind the screen, they understand. They understand that you're just saying thank you, but your hero's a dick. Great voice lines, a lot of swag in his movement. The crit is funny. Just bonking people on the head for that much damage. All of that puts him in some motion, but for the most part, mechanically, he is bitchless. It's just he's saved by the flavor. And then we get into the DLCs. Zeus is like very straightforward. And he is literally a Volcel. Is he bitchless? It feels weird to put... No, he's another character, but the flavor just barely saves him. Just barely. He's got funny voice lines. He styles on you sometimes. He's got a really stupid taunt. He's the only character whose taunt got upgraded to be a spell, which is like a funny... I don't think that's happened for any other character in Dota before. If it happens again, I hope OD rolls around and eats a big ball of shit. Alright. The post 7.00 characters. Hoodwink. Skill shots. Technically. You know, Bushwhack is pretty forgiving, but your ultimate is not. I think she's got some motion. You always have the core potential late game because of the nut shot. She's got a few things going on for her. Her flavor doesn't really help her too much, I don't think, but mechanically she's got a bit. So we're going to put her in some motion. Dawnbreaker. Who was I talking about earlier with uninteractive characters? I said I was going to put her somewhere, but I'm not 100% sure where it was. I think she's got some motion. She's another character that you constantly have to think about because of how she alters the macro sense of the game, and I think being able to influence decisions that you are not involved in actually has a considerable amount of aura to it. So some motion for her. Some motion. Also extremely uninteractive. The enemy team hates you, but that's fine. They should. You're going to kill them when you hit the Q button. Marthi. Marcy is... I think she's bitchless, personally, but, like, being able to deal that much burst damage, and, like, I guess it's a skill shot, her stun, and you could flip them like Burger. Flip like Burger, I think, actually does put her in some motion. You could put Marcy in Plug Walk, or maybe even risking it all, if you want to argue about, like, support Marcy's feeding. But, like, I'm going to put her in sub motion and call it a day. Feel free to beat me to death with hammers about it if you want. Primal Beast is Plug Walk for sure, dude. You see this guy walking at you, and it's like, oh shit. Trample is hilarious, another way to deal damage while moving. You also have Onslaught, which is a way to deal damage by moving, which is fantastic. The Roar is hilarious. It's a very funny thing to see. And his ulti, you know, I just talked about how the suplex from Marcy gives her a little bit of aura points. This is a triple power bomb where he slams you into the earth and stuns your whole team, and it pierces BKB. So Plug Walk for sure, I think. Primal Beast is dope. He also doesn't talk. Not talking is a very aura conducive thing to do. I mean, he roars all the time, but that's not talking. That's not a language. Or maybe it is. Muerta. Bit of an aura merchant. Out carrying a Muerta is a very funny thing to do, and a lot of heroes can do it. But you have your really cool trick shot, and then your ulti is like, you know, you just take the enemy team to Pound Town, and then that's all you get to do. I think some motion, mostly because of the skill shot, but other than that, she's kind of like in the same tier as Sniper. Ringmaster is Plug Walk, for sure. A lot of this is held by his flavor. He's such a bastard, dude. He's such a dick. He's a horrifying character. And then also, he's got an amazing walk animation. He has a pimp cane. He's got his basket of tricks, so he can like he has a lot of outplay potential on Ringmaster between his save, escape act, and then also the various items that he gets from the facet. Please buff the other facet, Valve. I want to see the other ones. The other ones are funny. Please. I'm tired of seeing his fucking clones with the big ass heads waddling around, dude. Show me the other ones. A Plug Walk though for Ringmaster for sure. He's got a lot. Skill shots from the knives as well. His ulti kind of sucks, but that's fine. Kez. Oh, man. Oh, I have to say something good about Kez. He's risking it all. If you're a really good Kez player, you do carry a lot of aura. And if you see like a Grandmaster Kez in your game, you're pooping your pants, dude. It is terrifying to play against. Kez players who are really good at the hero make him look so broken. Like, and you know what I'm talking about. Like, you'll find the Kez players who go like double Falcon Blade into like BKB. And it's like, why is he dealing this much damage to me? You walk away, or he walks away, and you die from the katana bleed because there's nothing you can do about it. And it feels like shit. You know, he's a character where the flavor hurts him, I think. His voice acting is so shit. But his mechanical identity is so cool and invokes so much, like, aura farming moments that I do think he winds up in risking it all. It's just, it's a weird split. And then if you're a bad Kez player, everyone laughs at you. Ha 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 ha. Largo. Huh. You know, it sounds weird because I've felt relatively comfortable rating him in other ways, but I feel like he's so new that, well, his ult is he waddles around playing music as an aura to help you, which, you know, is sort of a loose interpretation of the idea. He's difficult to rank. Part of me, I think he's going to wind up in Plug Walk eventually. Like, once Valve kind of tunes him up and makes him a little bit more interesting and maybe buffs his ulti, I think he's going to wind up in Plug Walk. But for now, he's going to be in some motion. But, like, it's variable. Very variable. I'm not very sure where Largo ranks on the swag tier list. Obviously, he has no pedigree. He's brand new. But some motion for now. But if you're watching this, like, 3 months from now and you ask me about it, maybe I'd move him up to Plug Walk. Maybe a year or two. So there you go. Here's the tier list. Go from the top, hopefully avoiding the random ad for, was that an AI chatbot or something? I don't know. Elite Aura Commander. These heroes are here because they have the most swag of anyone in the entire game. Shadow Fiend is definitely top 1 swag, but the rest of these have a lot. The weakest in this list is maybe Lich. And there's quite a few heroes that you could put in second place, and I wouldn't argue. Pango, Puck, Arc Warden, Doom, Invoker. And then Warlock and Tusk. I think that, like, dude, look at them. You play against these heroes, dude, they have aura. Then you have Plugwalk. These are heroes with high tier aura, and it's relatively consistent as well. And for various reasons, some of them come from their aesthetics, some of them come for how they impact gameplay. Bloodseeker is maybe one of the weaker inclusions on this list because I was still sort of figuring out what it meant to be a Plugwalk hero, but even so, I don't necessarily regret putting him here. Difficult heroes that can do flashy things. That's the bulk of this list. Or heroes that just have a shitload of swag from a flavor perspective. Basically, mechanically, culturally, or flavorfully, they need to tick 2 out of the 3 boxes. Risking it all is heroes that can have an immense quantity of aura. Some of them, I would even argue, could be an elite aura commander tier if you're good enough with them. But based on various factors, in or out of your control, they can move up or down the list. So a Rubik, you need good spells and good opportunities to use them. Same is mostly true for Morphling, but Morphling also has the other aspect of being able to shift HP and play super dangerously if he wants. But if things go bad, you like no one gives a shit and you suck. So like Huskar, if you die to Roche, no one cares. Anti-Mage, if you don't have a great game and carry your team, everyone thinks you're a joke. Wind Ranger, if you are a moron, no aura at all. But if you do have like 90 plus IQ, you can probably make her look cool. So there you go. Some motion. This is, as I predicted, the largest tier. It's not a majority by any means. It's not the bulk of the heroes. But these are characters that have the potential to be cool in certain circumstances. Or they have enough cultural presence where like people feel about them. So heroes that can invoke emotions will have some motion. And then finally, we have bitchless, which is a pretty small category, but I think this one's pretty self-explanatory. These heroes don't have the opportunity to do anything cool, or they are just universally hated by everyone on both teams. So that's why they're here in bitchless. There you go. That is the swag/aura tier list for Dota 2. Thank you very much for watching, and peace on planet Earth.